Shifting gears a little bit, you were the chair of a big effort at MIT, the Initiative on Faculty, Race, and Diversity. What was the motivation for this initiative?
Sure. In 2004, the MIT faculty, after examining where we were with regard to diversity, there was actually a resolution put forth by several members of our faculty asking that we address the level of diversity on MIT's faculty. The faculty voted to try to implement measures which would increase faculty diversity on campus. That was in 2004, and we had a new provost and a new president. There were 2 years during which there were efforts made on perhaps a smaller level to try to understand where we were succeeding and where we were failing in terms of recruiting and retaining minority faculty. But it wasn't until after that, around 2007, that we had an event on campus in which a faculty member who was denied tenure protested with respect to his tenure case. And there was some claims of issues around race. This prompted the provost to look more universally at MIT in general because we needed a way of having a conversation about this, but we also needed data. We needed to understand what we were doing well, and we needed to understand where we were going wrong with regard to the numbers that we had with respect to the general population. So in 2007, the provost decided to have an institute-wide initiative. He charged us with essentially looking at why we have differences in terms of the levels of diversity in our faculty compared to the pool, and to examine what the experiences of our minority faculty were at MIT.
So what are the numbers of minority faculty at MIT?
So the overall average is 6.3% of our faculty are underrepresented minority faculty. That definition is something that is worth explaining because when we say underrepresented minority, we refer to any faculty that have Hispanic, Black, or Native American heritage. We do include in that definition faculty who may have different countries of origin as well as the United States. When we look at just U.S. minorities, we think that we're looking at a number that's roughly 2/3 of that, or 4%. Wow. So there is some difference in terms of that. And we want to pay attention to both the U.S. underrepresented minority group and the broader minority group that includes those coming from other countries.
And so how many faculty are there total at MIT?
There are about 990 faculty at MIT, roughly 1,000 total. And so that 6.3% represents about 63 wow. faculty on our campus who are minority faculty.
Wow. And how does that number compare to other schools similar to MIT?
It actually compares fairly well. So if you look at across the board, Harvard is about 5.5% or something like this of their faculty. If you look at some of our neighboring schools, Boston University is, I think, around 6 or 5.5%. A lot of our peer institutions across the country also somewhere between that 4.5% and 6% number. So when we talk to our faculty about this, we explain to them that this isn't about trying to beat the competition. It's about trying to address the problem that we have low numbers across the board nationally in faculties.
What were some of the main findings from your 2 years, right?
That's right, 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Well, there were several main findings, but some of the ones that were most striking included our recruitment efforts. In our recruitment efforts, we found that a very large number of our faculty are coming from the same schools for their PhD. So for minority faculty, that number is 55% coming from MIT, Stanford, and Harvard wow. alone. And if you then extend that out to another 3 or 4 schools, you're talking 2/3 of the minority faculty coming from, let's say, 6 or 7 schools total. So it's very, very narrow. It's also narrow for our other faculty. Our Asian and our white faculty also have high numbers from that same set of schools. So when we claim that we are executing broad searches, we have to really examine ourselves and make intentional efforts to broaden our searches and look at a broad range of excellent schools that provide us the opportunity to increase diversity. And there's some wonderful examples of that, and we have an opportunity to form partnerships that are very meaningful and allow us to trade information and form partnerships that give us access to a number of these, very bright minority scholars early on.